Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Southern Gal Paranormal Mysteries and Oddities. I hope everybody's doing good. It is Sunday. I hope everybody had a fantastic week. If you're new to the channel, if it's your first time here, thanks for visiting. This is actually my second channel. My primary channel is Southern Gal True Crime, where I discuss, obviously, true crime. So if you're interested in that, head on over there and check it out. I will put a link to it in the description box, and I also have a link to it on the homepage of this channel. So today is October 1st, so that means it is officially Halloween season, which is my favorite time of the year because I do love everything freaky, creepy, and mysterious. And I thought tonight we would have a little fun and take a look at the 10 creepiest horror movie objects. I love horror movies. I've been watching horror movies and since I was a little kid. My mom actually let me watch the original Dark Shadows soap opera when I was a kid, so I blame everything on her. But as I said, and oh my goodness, of course I'm having technical difficulties because I forgot to load my presentation. So let me do that quickly. Oh, there it is. All right, there we go. So, as I said, we're going to take a look at our top 10 and creepy movie objects. And I actually forgot the name of the website that I found this on. I just found it when I was browsing Google. But I saved it in the browser, so I'll put a link to it in the description box. So, we shall take a look at our top 10 creepy movie objects. Coming in at number 10, from one of my favorite horror movies franchises, the Hellraiser Lament configuration box. That weird little box thing. I just love this movie. I love Clive Barker. I started out reading his books. I've read just about every book he's written. Books, short stories. This one is my favorite. I have to say this one. And, of course, as always, whenever I start recording my videos, all the information just goes out of my head. But if I think of it, I'll mention it later. But anyway, and you'll find out I'm loopy when I do these videos because it's usually late at night when I do them because I have to do them after I get done with my real job and get home and get stuff taken care of and then make time to film these videos. But anyway, so number 10, the Hellraiser box. So it says, the most terrifying element of Clive Barker's visceral Hellraiser horror series are the gruesome Cenobites. I love the Cenobites, especially Pinhead. He's my favorite. They tempt unsuspecting victims into lurid pleasures of the flesh. However, the necessary tool to summon these macabre creatures is the intricate Lament configuration puzzle box. Originally designed by Philip Lamarchand back in the 1700s, the Lament configuration masquerades as some sort of toy, which only makes its apocalyptic possibilities, try saying that fast 3 times, more frightening. There's a certain allure to the Lament configuration that individuals just can't resist, as if it senses their hedonistic impulses. So, yes, like I said, this is one of my favorite horror movies. I love the box. Actually, somewhere, because I have a collection of horror movie related stuff, and I think I actually have a replica of the box packed away somewhere in one of my mini totes that I have. Because I've run out of places at this point to put everything, to display everything. All right, so that was number 10. So number 9, of course, we have Annabelle, the demonic doll from the Conjuring series, and then had to spin off into its own series. So the Conjuring cinematic universe has become one of the biggest and most profitable horror franchises of all time. And the paranormal adventures of Ed and Lorraine Warren have included plenty of demons and haunted relics. The Warrens highlight a demonic porcelain doll, Annabelle. And I think in the last video I did, I looked at Robert the doll, the cursed doll. And then I think I featured, I think it was 6 more haunted dolls, and the original Annabelle doll was one of them that was featured, which is actually looks nothing like what is portrayed in the movies. It is actually a Raggedy Ann doll. But anyway, just a little bit of information that you guys probably already knew. Okay, so lost my place as usual. The Warrens highlighted demonic porcelain doll Annabelle as the most wicked of their possessions, and the terrifying tool has gone on to be the focus of 3 of her own spin-off films. I've watched the first one. I haven't watched the other 2 yet, but they're on my to-watch list. I just have to make time to sit and binge watch movies or TV shows, which I haven't had much time to do lately. A demonic entity known as a Malthus is tethered to the Annabelle doll and has turned it into a conduit of evil. It's frightening on its own, but its desire to find a human host is even more chilling. And I hate dolls, just as a side note. I like creepy looking dolls, such as the Annabelle doll and some other ones. I'm trying to remember. I was trying to remember some of the other ones I featured in my video about Robert the Cursed doll. But it's the normal looking porcelain dolls with the very pretty hair and the face and the nice dress. Those are the dolls that creep me out. It's one of my phobias, along with clowns and spiders and all that good normal stuff. So we have Annabelle at number 9. To me, I think Annabelle should have been a little bit higher on the list. But let me know what you guys think. Always, everybody's opinion is welcome here. Just always be respectful of each other. Keep it clean and nice and fun, and there won't be any problems. All right, let's see what number 8 is. Now, this is a movie that I have not had a chance to watch yet. It is on my to-watch list. It is the Mr. Babadook pop-up book. So Jennifer Kent's The Babadook is a striking directorial debut, and like many of the best horror movies, it gains strength in how it combines a terrifying monster with an emotional core. The Babadook. Now, I have heard the legend of the Babadook, but like I said, I haven't seen the movie. The Babadook is really a meditation on grief, depression, and the difficulties of motherhood, but the film taps into its beleaguered mother's frayed mental state with the titular creature. What initially sets off this living manifestation is a seemingly innocent, of course, in horror movies, everything starts off innocently, pop-up book titled Mr. Babadook. The book mixes foreboding rhymes with grim imagery, and it progresses into a deeply disturbing read. This book continues to tease the dark fate that possibly awaits these characters. Well, of course, that is another one of the mainstays of horror movies. Is the teasers and the jump scares and the everything else that goes along with the wonderful horror movies. So like I said, I intend to watch this at some point. If any of you guys have seen it, let me know if it's worth watching firstly, because I hate to waste time on if a movie, no matter it doesn't matter what kind of movie it is, whether it's horror, because I like horror movies, action movies. If it doesn't capture my attention and keep me interested and intrigued within about the first 5 minutes, I turn it off. So, like I said, if anybody's watched this, let me know if it is worth my time to watch. All right. Number 8 is, now this is another one that I have not seen. I'm a little bit behind on my movies. The Oculus's Laser Glass, from the movie Oculus, obviously. The lesser glass is an ornate antique mirror that's responsible for ruining more than a dozen lives across the span of more than 250 years. In Oculus, Kaylee Russell and her brother Tim become the latest victims of the mirror as they try to put a stop to its evil once and for all. There's an intimidating quality to the austere object that's not inherently frightening, but the mysterious properties of the mirror and how it can distort reality are where it gains its almost undefeatable strength. Now, there is something, I don't have a phobia of mirrors, but there's just something about mirrors that are just, I don't like to look in mirrors. I try not to, but like I said, it's not really a phobia, but well, I guess it is kind of a phobia because I guess I've watched so many horror movies, as I've said, that I just have this instilled fear that I'm going to look in a mirror and not necessarily see like a ghostly face or image in it, but see somebody standing behind me. I know that's probably weird, but if any of you have that same kind of a fear or phobia or whatever you call it, please let me know. Because, and I also have the thing about windows, especially when it's dark outside and you have the curtains open. I'm always afraid if I look outside, I'm gonna see somebody looking in at me. Yes, I know I have a lot of issues. Yeah, I could probably benefit from maybe talking to a psychiatrist or something, but I just talk to myself most of the time and answer myself and argue with myself. But anyway, I'm babbling as usual. So we will see what number 6 is. Yes, this is one of my favorites. Again, from one of my favorite movie franchises, the Evil Dead movies. We got the Necronomicon. Bruce Campbell, one of my favorites, no matter if he's in horror movies, TV shows. He can do comedy, he can do horror, which usually in his horror movies includes a lot of comedy. I love Bruce Campbell. So, Bruce Campbell's Ash Williams is largely considered to be the face of Evil Dead. Well, duh. To me, in my opinion, the Evil Dead movies would not be worth anything without Bruce Campbell in them. But the terrifying tome that unleashes the Deadites upon the world is also bound with several pained faces of its own. The Necronomicon doesn't sound like the most inviting piece of literature, and it's never a good idea to read aloud some random passage from its pages, as anybody who's watched these movies can attest to. Ash continues to contend with decades of doom due to the Necronomicon's dark powers. The Necronomicon properly earns its Book of the Dead title due to how it's made from human flesh. Of course it is. Making it the one time that it's actually safe to judge a book by its cover. So yeah, if any of you guys are fans of the Evil Dead movies, please let me know in the comments. Like I said, these I keep repeating myself, but once again, like I said, it's late and I'm loopy. And this channel, if you've come here from my true crime channel, you know that's a more, due to the subject matter, is more serious. But so this channel that I decided to start is a looser format. We have a little fun, take a look at some weird stuff. And I've completely lost my train of thought where I was going with that. But anyway, Bruce Campbell. I actually have a story about Bruce Campbell. If you don't want to hear it, feel free to fast forward. I'll try to make it as short as possible. Like as I've stated, one of my favorite actors. He actually came here, I believe, when his first book came out. When he was doing his book tours, he came here to. I live in Arkansas, so he came here to Arkansas to do a little presentation, a book signing, talk about the book, to promote the book. Of course, the night that he came, I had to work, couldn't go, which peed me off very much because I have two younger brothers, so they went. And so they had to give me a hard time about, oh, we're going to get to go meet Bruce Campbell and you don't get to go, and you know how little brothers can be. So anyway, fast forward to Christmas time. Christmas rolls around, and we're opening our Christmas presents, and I open the one. It's from both of them, and they put it in like it's this huge box, very heavy. So I'm like, what the crap is this? What did they do? So I'm, tearing it open, and it's full of like bubble wrap and blah, blah, blah. And then I come across there's bricks in it. I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing to me? And they're like, just keep going, keep going. So finally I get to the very bottom of the box, and there's a smaller box in it. So I would get the smaller box out, open it up, and it is Bruce Campbell's book. And I'm like, oh, cool, you got me a Bruce Campbell book. And they're like, no, open it up. So I opened it up, and they had it autographed to me by Bruce Campbell. So that is like the sweetest, best, one of the sweetest, best Christmas presents that I ever got. They didn't buy anything for themselves. The only thing they bought was the book for me, and had it autographed to me by Bruce. It's still safely put away. I also have a book autographed by Anne Rice that my aunt got me as either a birthday or Christmas present. So they're safely packed away. Anyway, that's my Bruce Campbell story. Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him, but I ended up with the signed book. So anyway, if you watch my videos, and if you're still watching this one and haven't turned it off already, you'll find I digress some and go off and tell a story or two. Like I said, this is a looser format than my other channel. So we like to have fun here. All right, number 5. Ouija boards, however you pronounce it. In general. Now I personally love playing with Ouija boards. I haven't in a while, but back in when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I was working at wherever I was working at. There was some fast food restaurant, and of course, after I worked the night shift, and after we closed, me and the other people that worked the night shift, we'd usually go to one of our houses and hang out. And one of the things that we would do is play with the Ouija board. So anyway, we had fun with that. All right, so back to the list. The Ouija board is a tool that can be used to communicate with the spirit realm. It's an occult artifact that exists in the real world, and it has become a perennial touchstone of the horror genre. The Ouija board isn't tied to just one movie, but diverse titles like The Witch Board, which I have watched that movie. I haven't watched it in a while. The Witch Board series, The Exorcist, and Ouija, Origin of Evil, highlight the object's frightening nature. There are usually sinister forces at play, with a Ouija board that preys upon the vulnerable individuals who make use of it. The sight of the board's planchette device moving on its own through supernatural intervention is the stuff of nightmares. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had really anything scary happen when we played around with the Ouija board, because most of the time it was somebody pushing the planchette around and just spelling out stupid words and phrases. But it was fun to do and pass the time, and mostly kept us out of trouble. All right, number 4. Now this is very creepy. This doesn't creep me out. Okay, so there are very few. I've watched so many horror movies. I've been watching for so long. There are very few horror movies that truly creep me out, give me the creeps, give me the shivers. Blair Witch Project is one of the movies that creeps me out, and I've watched it probably 10 or 20 times or more. And when it came out, we did go see it in the movie theater, which was packed, so we ended up having to sit on the very front row. So that made it even more, because it's right there in your face. And even though I knew that it, because we all know, or if you've seen the Blair Witch Project, um, they did all the hype, the website that it was the found footage and it was real and blah blah blah. But going into the movie, I knew it wasn't real, but it still, to this day, every time I watch it, it freaks me out. And these stick men are one of the things in the movie that freak me out the most. I guess because I grew up on a farm, live in the country, so of course there's always sticks and woods and trees and so I guess that's why sticks in general, of course, don't creep me out, but these sticks in the movie, just thinking about them just gives me shivers. But anyway, once again, I digress. So, the Blair Witch Project remains one of the most frightening found footage horror experiences of all time. The Blair Witch Project is a masterpiece in minimalism that plays out through a personal first-person perspective. One of the earliest signs of doom that the characters encounter while they're lost in the woods are the Twanas, otherwise known as the Stickmen. These rudimentary effigies are meant to represent people, and they're prominently used in the Blair Witch's dark rituals. Out of context, the Twanas aren't overtly scary, but their sudden appearance in large numbers is a horrifying highlight of the movie. And yes, to me, that is one of the most terrifying or most uh, creepiest scenes of the movie. Which reminds me, I need to watch. It's been a while since I've had time to sit down and watch Blair Witch. Um, and I need to look up, because I believe, of course, the movie is all fiction, but I believe it is based on a real urban legend or urban myth. And I'm trying to think of how many. They did more than one Blair Witch, but I think I've tried to watch some of the other ones, but they were kind of stupid. Like I said, first 5 minutes, and I wasn't interested, so I turned them off and just went back and watched the original one. All right, number 3, the Ring videotape. Now, to me, which I have watched both Ringu, the original Japanese version, and the Ring, the Americanized version. To me, the videotape isn't creepy. It's the girl coming out of the well and the TV. That's the creepy part to me. I mean, what's creepy about a VHS tape? But nonetheless, it was on this list that I found on whatever website it was. So, both Ringu and its, I almost said Ragu. Must be hungry for spaghetti. Both Ringu and its American counterpart, The Ring, have fueled lengthy horror franchises throughout the disturbing premise of a haunted videotape that takes the life of anyone who watches it after 7 days. The sheer dread that characters experience once they engage in the ticking clock scenario is enough to break anyone's mind. The ghostly visage that attacks the victims, to me, like I said, that girl with the hair and that's the scary part to me. The ghastly aftermath of the killings and the videotape's footage are all a lot to bear. The videotape's contents are a nightmare come to life, but soon the tape itself takes on an equally haunting connotation. Like I said, and this is rated at put at number 3 according to this list. To me, like I said, The Ring, both the original version and the American version didn't really, creep me out. Like I said, except for the girl. But the videotape, and I said, by the way, does anybody, so it's 2023, VHS tapes came out in the 80s. Does anybody else still have a collection of VHS tapes besides me? If you do, please let me know in the comments. I just can't seem to, for one, I haven't made the time or the effort to go through the tapes and figure out what to do with them, whether just chunk them or whatever. And And then some of it's just nostalgia. I just don't want to get rid of them. Every while I go through and look, and and plus I have besides having a ton of VHS tapes, I also have a ton of DVDs, which those are becoming almost obsolete too, because now you can find just about any movie or TV show you want to watch on one of the 1,000 streaming services out there. But anyway, just just interested if anybody else still has a collection of VHS tapes, or if I'm just weird. Well, I know I'm weird, but just demented enough to still have them, or like just too lazy to get rid of them. All right, let's see what number 2 is. Phantasm Sentinel Sphere. Sentinel Sphere. I've watched Phantasm a couple of times. It's not one of my favorite horror movies. But it's good to put on in the background. During of course, I watched most of my horror movie watching is done. Well, I mean, I watched them year round, but especially during the Halloween season, I start pulling out some movies and watching them. But anyway, so Don Coscarelli's Phantasm series slowly turned into a cult hit during the 1980s and 90s. Much of Phantasm's legacy has to do with Angus Scrimm, wonderful, wonderful actor and character. Scrimm's evocative performance as the tall man. To me, that's the creepiest part of Phantasm, is the tall man. As well as the nightmarish tools that carry out his bidding. Each Phantasm movie introduces a new type of sentinel, which are floating metallic spheres that most commonly drain the blood from their victims. The sentinels house brains and become increasingly powerful. Phantasm 5, sorry, I forget my Roman numerals, even includes a gigantic sentinel that fires city leveling lasers. The original version, in its efficient simplicity, is still the scariest. So, like I said, I've only watched, and I think I've only watched the first one. I don't think I've watched any of the sequels. Like I said, I'm kind of not really picky about my horror movies, but to me, I like more of the slasher in the 80s, the slasher type movies, the Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Streets and Friday the 13th. But as I got older, I got more, also love the psychological horror. Really like that. But, blood and guts is always good, in my opinion. So Phantasm didn't really rank very high on my list of horror movies. And I might have to do a top 10 list of my favorite horror movies. But I love to hear what your guys' favorite horror movies are, or favorite horror movie objects. If we got one more to go, we'll see what number 1 is. Anybody want to guess what number 1 is? But anyway, once again, I lost my train of thought. You'll find out if you watch if you watch any of my videos after this one, because I'm really babbling on this one because I'm really loopy. Because today was my Friday as far as my real job goes, so my brain has shut down. Looking forward to my 2 days off. Anyway, back to the list. Number 1 is, drum roll, Chucky, good guy doll. Well, of course it is. So of course, Chucky's good guy doll will be a friend to the end. I will be your friend to the end. I know, that was a horrible imitation of Chucky. So Charles Lee Ray engages in a volatile voodoo ritual to transfer his soul into an innocuous good guy doll in 1988's Child's Play. This transformation becomes a trigger for hundreds of bloody killings. I have to be careful how there's certain words that YouTube doesn't like, and if you say them, it will flag your video and either take it down or it'll bury it and nobody will ever see it. Which nobody will probably ever see this video either. But anyway, these videos are therapeutic to me. The kind of work that I do, Sometimes I need some therapeutic outlets. But anyway, back to Chucky. And of course I lost my place. So Chucky has become one of the biggest slasher icons, despite his small stature. Yeah, speaking of small stature, which this movie, of course, doesn't creep me out. And I've watched every Chucky movie that's ever made, even the stupid ones. For the entertainment value, they make me laugh more than anything. But talking about the small stature, of course, Chucky reminds me of a child. To me, one of the creepiest is not an object, but a character in a horror movie is Gage from Pet Sematary. Oh my gosh, when he comes back from the dead and he's stalking the was it the old guy, the neighbor, the one that he gets the scalpel and anyway. Like I said, I love Pet Sematary is one of my favorite movies. Stephen King's one of my favorite authors. But yeah, little Gage is very scary, very scary. After, let's say, reborn Gage is very scary. Before he meets his untimely death, he's a very cute little boy. But after that, yeah, nope, don't like it. Don't like him after he comes back. And Church too. Poor cat. Okay, so that was number one. Chucky's number one. So please let me know. Do you agree with this list? Would you change the order of it? Is there an object that was not included on this list that you would have included? Please let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, found it fun, interesting, entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. If you know have any family friends that you that are into weird, creepy stuff like this, please share it. They might get some enjoyment out of it, or just laugh at me babbling. Either way is good. I'm good with either one. If you do like I said, I think this is it's a relatively new channel. I think this is only the third or fourth video I've done, but I usually upload once a week, usually on Sundays. So if you like this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing before you get out of here, if you're even still here. Subscribe, hit the notification bell to all so you won't miss when I do upload. Because sometimes I might upload something on a Saturday if I come up with something. Usually I do anything, as it says, to do with paranormal ghosts, UFOs, aliens, just weird, any kind of weird stuff that goes on. Abandoned houses, abandoned graveyards, just like I said, basically anything, as it says, paranormal mysteries or odd stuff. Okay, so I think I'm through babbling for now. Been babbling for about 30 minutes. I think that's long enough. So until next time, please take care of yourselves. Be careful out there. Take care of each other. So that way we can all make it through this life safely. And I will be back next Sunday with another video about who knows what, because I usually don't know what my video is going to be about until I actually start the video. So until next time, sayonara, and I will see ya.